Witchcraft. What pops into your head when you hear that word? Pointy hats, maybe a bubbling cauldron? We get that a lot, thanks to centuries of folklore and movies. But beyond all that fiction, there's a real, living, spiritual path. So in this explainer, we're going to peel back those myths to really understand what Wicca is all about.
Okay, so before we can even get into what Wicca is, we've got to talk about what it isn't. You know that powerful image of the witch in pop culture? It's created this massive stereotype, and honestly, it has almost nothing to do with what modern followers actually believe and do.
So just for a second, really think about it. If I say the word witch, what's the first thing you picture? I'm guessing it's someone in a black robe, maybe a pointy hat, stirring a big pot, right? That image, that's exactly what we need to break down.
Yeah, the reality is a completely different world from that stereotype. According to our source, the focus isn't on cauldrons and curses at all. It's about a deep, profound respect for nature. The journey isn't about flying on a broomstick, it's an internal one. It's all about self-development. And practitioners? They're not old crones. They're just enlightened people. All ages, all walks of life, guided by this one simple but really powerful idea: harm none.
Now, to really get Wicca, we have to dig a little deeper, you know? Look at its roots. It didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It actually grew from a much, much older spiritual tradition. That's its foundation.
And that foundation is paganism. Now, this isn't just one religion. Think of it more like a giant umbrella term for all these ancient, earth-centered belief systems. The core idea is that the divine isn't some far-off thing in the sky. It's right here, all around us. You can find it in the changing of the seasons, in the life of a forest, in the power of the ocean. It's tangible.
Our source actually puts it perfectly. It describes paganism as the effort to harmonize with nature considered sacred. And that really hits the nail on the head, right? It shows this isn't some new fad. It's about getting back to a really fundamental human connection with the planet, a way of seeing the world around us as sacred.
So, okay, if paganism is this huge ancient tree, you could say Wicca is one of its newest branches. And even though its inspiration is super ancient, Wicca, as a formal, organized system, it has a surprisingly recent history.
The story of modern Wicca really kicks off with this one English guy, Gerald Gardner. So back in the 1930s, he says he was initiated into a coven, that's a traditional group of witches, that had supposedly survived in secret for ages. This experience totally changed him, and it led him to publish a book in 1954 called Witchcraft Today. And that book, wow, it basically introduced this whole structured system to the world and lit the fuse for the modern Wiccan movement.
Okay, so here's something really important to get. Wicca isn't some secret religion that's been passed down unchanged for thousands of years. It's actually a modern synthesis. It's a system based on practice that brilliantly weaves together old pagan themes, folklore, and even ceremonial magic. It creates something that feels brand new and ancient all at the same time.
All right, every spiritual path has to have some kind of moral compass, right? For Wicca, that compass is incredibly clear and direct, and it guides pretty much every single thing they do.
So right at the center of Wiccan belief is this idea of a divine partnership. Instead of a single, all-powerful, patriarchal figure, divinity is seen as a perfect balance of masculine and feminine energies. These are represented by a god and a goddess.
The goddess, she embodies the earth, the moon, the mystery of creation itself. She's often seen in three aspects: the young maiden, the nurturing mother, and the wise old crone. And then her counterpart, the god, he represents the vibrant energy of the sun, the wildness of nature, and that endless, endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Together, they make up this complete, balanced, divine whole. This single line right here, this is the Wiccan Rede. It's the ultimate ethical guide. And it harm none, do as ye will. It's such a powerful statement about balancing your own personal freedom with a sense of absolute responsibility. And that word will is super important. It doesn't just mean do whatever you feel like. It's about your higher purpose, your true calling. The idea is you should pursue that as long as it causes absolutely no harm to anyone or anything, and that includes yourself.
And to back that up, you've got the threefold law. You can think of it as a kind of spiritual cause and effect, or karma on steroids. Basically, it says that whatever energy you put out into the world, whether it's good or bad, is going to come back to you 3 times as strong. It's a pretty powerful reason to act with kindness and integrity, right?
Okay, so what does all of this actually look like in practice? I mean, Wicca isn't just a bunch of beliefs you think about. It's a lived experience, and it's deeply, deeply connected to the rhythms of the earth.
That connection to the Earth really comes to life through something called the Wheel of the Year. It's this annual cycle that's marked by 8 major festivals, which are called Sabbats. These celebrations line up with the solstices, the equinoxes, and the days right in between them. Each one honors a key moment in the Earth's journey around the Sun.
So the year kicks off with Samhain on October 31st. You probably know it as Halloween. It's a time for reflection as nature goes to sleep. That leads us to Yule, the winter solstice, which is all about celebrating the rebirth of the sun, that return of the light. Then, as the earth warms up, we get to Beltane in May, which is this big, joyous festival of fertility and life. And then in August, there's Lugnasad, the first harvest, a time to give thanks for everything the earth has given us. You see, each festival is like a chapter in the planet's own story.
Okay, so let's boil it all down. What are the key things to remember? First, Wicca is a modern pagan religion that really took off in the 1950s. Its absolute core principle is the Wiccan Rede, harm none. It sees divinity as a balanced partnership between a god and a goddess, and its practice is completely anchored to the real world through the natural cycles of the Wheel of the Year.
The insights we've been talking about in this explainer come from the book Ancient Witchcraft Teachings by Erhan Altunay. It's a really comprehensive guide to the principles and practices we've just touched on.
And that leaves us with one final thing to think about. You know, in our super fast-paced digital world, where we're so often disconnected from nature, what's the value of an earth-based path like this? What kind of wisdom could we gain if we started aligning our lives not with push notifications, but with the cycles of the moon and the turning of the seasons? It's something to think about.